Whiskey Tango Charlie, we often talk about the stories, and it's really not always about the juice. We're here at Peerless Distillery with a longtime friend and employee here at Peerless, John. And John shares a passion with me with coffee.
Small world. Yeah.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So I launched Stave and Bean about a year and a half ago. We specialize in barrel aging coffee. We have beans from Sumatra and Honduran. And what we try to do, we try to think more outside the box than just bourbon and rye barrels. So we'll look for all different types of spirits. We just released last week a mezcal barrel that we barrel aged some Mexican beans in. So we're trying to look for just those one-off, something a little bit different than your standard just bourbon and rye barrel aged coffees that we have. So we have about 10 different products right now, different blends and things like that we do.
Awesome. So the parallel of the tasting of bourbon, the flavors, the sensory. So Charles and myself do this thing called Sensory Training Friday. And what we do is every Friday we try to train our palates and try to educate ourselves a little bit more. And I reflect back on my coffee heritage and what I learned about coffee. Let's talk a little bit about the parallel of the coffee and the bourbon and how they work so well.
They do. They actually work really well together. So, I mean, you treat coffee just like you do whiskey, right? Depending on what region you're getting your beans from and everything, they all have different flavor profiles to them. So if you can find a way to match those flavor profiles of the beans with some amazing barrels, and that came along from being the single barrel curator here at Peerless. You know, I get to have the pleasure of tasting through hundreds of barrels a year. And dealing with different cooperages and things like that. So I was trying to figure out a way to recapture some of those aromatics and flavors that you get out of the barrels. Because a lot of times when you dump them, they either go to the accounts or back to a cooperage, stripped down and off to somewhere else. So I really want to try to recapture those flavor profiles. So during COVID, started experimenting, putting different beans in barrels. Yeah, I mean, something good came out of it. And luckily, I had a hit. I got one business partner, Corey Welsh. He lives in New Orleans, so it's like the biggest coffee port. So he gets to go right down there. We hand select some of the finest beans from. We try to use like second, third generation farmers, little small farms, and things like that. And we'll look for different flavor profiles to try to match from different whiskey that I've tasted or barrels that come in that we receive.
So I know there's a hole in the skin somewhere.
Oh, right here at the top.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is incredible. So Whiskey Tango Charlie, talking not always about the juice, talking about some of the stories, and our friend John has recreated himself in the coffee business. So you get an opportunity, follow him out on social media, pick you up a bag of beans. Where are they located at now?
So I do have an e-commerce website, so we ship all over the place, free shipping. But, you know, if you're local here in Louisville, Kentucky, you can find me at Kroger's, Justin's House of Bourbon, Louisville Thoroughbred Society, Barn 8. We're doing some work with Matt Wims and Thurston Downtown. And then Monte Cristo. If you're a cigar lover like myself, if you like the cigar, whiskey, and coffee combo, Monte Cristo will soon be a vendor of ours, too.
Awesome. Whiskey Tango Charlie. Stay tuned.
Cheers.